lead. But it looks like Ruby's going to make it.
He's going to adopt similar tactics. They're off and running.
Lead from Don Cossack and Carlingford Lock, the back marker of the trio, approaching the first fence. Ballycasey, Don Cossack, Carlingford Lock, as the three make their way towards fence number 2, which will be the first of the ditches. And Ballycasey leads by a couple of lengths to Don Cossack, similar margin to Carlingford Lock. The three now face up to the first of the ditches, fence number 2. Ballycasey, Don Cossack, and a couple of lengths to Carlingford Lock as they make the turn and race across now towards fence number 3. Taking them on the run across the bottom now to approach the straight, fence number 3 coming up. And it's Ballycasey coming to fence number 3 in front of Don Cossack, a couple of lengths to Carlingford Lock. So they come on now to run the bend that'll take them into the straight and begin now to face up to fence number 4. And Ballycasey striding along a couple of lengths cleared of Don Cossack, who's similar margin in front of Carlingford Lock, as the three runners for the Dr. P.J. Moriarty Novice Chase make their way to fence number 4, which of course will be the final fence after another circuit. And in front is Ballycasey to Don Cossack, a few lengths to Carlingford Lock. Over number 4, up in front of the stands they come. Goodish run now to before they reach the 5th, and as they pass the stands, Ballycasey and Ruby Walsh lead Don Cossack, Brian Cooper, and a couple of lengths to Carlingford Lock and Tony McCoy. Racing now past the winning post and on towards the 5th fence. A circuit of the track ahead of them, and little change from the outset. Ballycasey showing the way to Don Cossack and Carlingford Lock. The three runners head away from the stands and begin now to set their sights on fence number 5, with Ballycasey the leader, followed by Don Cossack and a couple of lengths to Carlingford Lock. Now the three runners face up to the fence away from the stands. Ballycasey, Don Cossack, Carlingford Lock. Three runners safely over and quickly on now to face up to number 6. And after that they'll turn to make the run into the back straight. Ballycasey continuing in front of Don Cossack, and the pair tracked by Carlingford Lock. Over number 6 and now beginning to make the turn to race into the back straight. 8 more fences to jump when they face up towards the next one. Ballycasey leading Don Cossack, Carlingford Lock. So they make the bend now to the 10 furlong point, swing into the back straight to face the first of the final 8 fences. And Ballycasey tracked by Don Cossack, couple of lengths to Carlingford Lock. Now they're into the back straight and facing the first down the far side. And Ballycasey, a 2-length leader to Don Cossack, similar margin then to Carlingford Lock. Ballycasey, Don Cossack, Carlingford Lock. Three runners race on now to the fence, a mile from the finish, and this 7th from home. Ballycasey and Ruby Walsh showing the way. Don Cossack, Brian Cooper, a couple of lengths to Carlingford Lock and Tony McCoy. And that's the order maintained from the outset. Ballycasey in front of Don Cossack, Carlingford Lock. Out over that one, a good jump by the leader. Extends his advantage now to 3 to 4 lengths. Don Cossack closing on the level, and the pair tracked all the while by Carlingford Lock. Second last of the ditches now. 6 from the finish. In the lead is Ballycasey from Don Cossack, driven into this one to try and close. He closes up now within a length to Ballycasey and still a couple of lengths to Carlingford Lock, content to track the leading pair as they go now to the next with 5 left to jump. Ballycasey, Don Cossack, Carlingford Lock. Now they race to 4 from home, beginning to make the run towards the end of the back straight. Ballycasey in front of Don Cossack, closely attended by Carlingford Lock. Now they've 4 left to jump, and Ballycasey leads Don Cossack with Carlingford Lock just behind them. The final ditch now coming up, and Ballycasey joined by Don Cossack with a couple of lengths to Carlingford Lock as they go now to the final ditch. 3 fences from the finish in the Dr. Paddy Moriarty Chase. Ballycasey back 3 parts in front of Don Cossack, tracked by Carlingford Lock. Last of the ditches, Ballycasey, Don Cossack, tracked by Carlingford Lock. Turning now to make the run. 2 left to jump, and now the 3 runners covered by a couple of lengths. Ballycasey, Don Cossack on the inside, being followed by Carlingford Lock. Ballycasey Don Cossack and Carlingford Lock just behind them. Now the three race for the home turn, and Ballycasey with Don Cossack gone up to join issue. Carlingford Lock just being kicked along to try and close. Off the bend, Don Cossack joins Ballycasey. Carlingford Lock being ridden in behind them. Now the three runners come down to the final fence, and any of the three, Ballycasey coming back on the near side of Don Cossack. Carlingford Lock the inside over the final fence. Ballycasey, and Carlingford Lock has lost Tony McCoy. Ballycasey now the leader from Don Cossack as they race up towards the finish. It's Ballycasey who's staying on the stronger, and up towards the finish Ballycasey will beat Don Cossack by 3 to 4 lengths. Tony McCoy's on his feet, and Ballycasey wins the Dr. Paddy Moriarty Chase, beating Don Cossack by about 4 lengths. And Tony McCoy up from the last fence. Exit from Carlingford.